What's up, homegirls? ¿Qué onda, morras? Welcome to the Crees Muy Muy podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie. This is episode 29. Today is Monday, June 1st, 2026. 6 months till the year ends. What a trip. I hope the first half treated you well. For me, it was totally upside down. Jobs, finances, health. Bueno, pues todo el rollo, actually, if you think about it. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you and welcome. Thanks for taking the time to check out this podcast. It means a lot to me. For those of you who are returning, glad to know que no las espante. Don't forget to follow, share, and like. Go check out the IG page and TikTok at the Crees Muy Muy podcast. Anyways, this episode se va a tratar about resets, pivots, taking things back to basics, and why sometimes it feels like a failure. So let me go ahead and get started. So man, en donde empiezo? So much to cover, and I will be dropping some gems and questions for y'all along the way. Why does going back to basics or resetting at times feels like failure? I thought about that for a bit because I'm currently doing that with this podcast and other areas of my life. The topics that I talk about are either things I went through or I'm currently thinking about or maybe even gone through. I mentioned this a few episodes ago that I had to take this podcast back to basics with what it was and isn't, what I wanted it to be and not, the financial portion as well, and having radical acceptance of where I'm at in life and when it comes to just basically todo. Next year, y'all, in January, I'm going to be 40. What a trip, huh? I need to make a career pivot as well into a brand new industry, most likely, that doesn't require more higher education, como un master's or something expensive like that. I feel partly like a failure with monetization of this podcast, and it came down to you don't know what you don't know, and honestly, a bit of unrealistic expectations, but that's okay. I give myself over 6 months of doing and pivoting, but it feels heavy knowing that I gotta go back to basics and recommitting in a whole new way. Granted, it's not like I'm starting from scratch because I have info, 6 months worth of data, analytics, growing TikTok, and a lot of knowledge. The question for you all is this: did you choose this reset or did life choose it for you? For those of you who are pivoting en lo que sea, when it comes to health, personal life, con tu familia, career, relationships, friendships, lo que sea, relocating, did you choose that reset or did life choose it for you? And the reason that I'm asking, because like I said, it's half of the year, y'all, ya se nos fue. And I hope that we were able to learn, but I'm also realistic and I understand that some of us are just living day by day. And honestly, if that's the case, I respect it. I understand. And that's all you could do. That's all you could do because that's also a choice as well. Anyways, I'm a first gen millennial Chicana and I don't know about y'all, but I don't think we really talk about pivots and resets in la cultura Latina. If you do, it's more like starting all over again. Like algo no pasó, so ni modo, you keep trying and try and make it work or leave it and next. I don't know about even having time to process it. I don't care what anyone says. Resetting, pivoting, recommitting small or big in any areas of our lives take time mentally and we don't really leave room for that. El espacio to pivot or anything. Really think about it. I know some of y'all might think that, well, you don't want to be pessimistic, so you say that you want to focus on the good and you hope for the best, which is true, y'all. Having a better, not even good, having a better attitude when doing things does make a difference, but it's not really about that. It's like we adjust as we go, but most really don't do that. We pivot, or maybe if you have the space to really evaluate, it's cuando estás casi hasta la madre because shit isn't working out. How come we don't check in more often? Whatever checking in means to you, whether, like I said, school, career, relationships, health, family dynamics, lo que sea. Why do we give ourselves a deadline to be better before we even get started? What would it look like to add instead of restrict? What if restarting or re-choosing yes wasn't a reset, but just a part of the process, algo daily or even weekly? So I started to think about this and I was like, damn, dude, I'm hella tripping. So I looked it up. because I was like, why does it feel so heavy or like failure to pivot or take it back to basics, y'all? Not even quitting or starting over, because in reality, you're not starting from scratch. You have info letting you know what did and didn't work. Tienes data on what not to try again. Or if you want to do it, but in a different way, like 6 months of data, sabes que sí o sabes que no. And if you want to leave something, honestly, that's perfectly fine too. Something called identity-based progress. We tie self-worth to forward momentum, so stopping feels like a loss of identity. Effort justification. The more you sacrifice to get somewhere, the harder it is to feel to step back when it's the right move. Sunk cost thinking, the I've already come this far trap. All or nothing thinking, black and white thinking, an actual CBT term for what so many of us do. We tend to jump into things and not fully knowing, and we figure it out as we go. But sometimes that is really frustrating. So no se pudo, and you really did try. The all or nothing. Why do we wait, like I mentioned, until everything is going to shit before we pivot? If we can see it coming, ¿por qué no paramos? And be like, no mames, I think this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go, or a certain way, or dude, ya no puedo, or sí puedo, but not this way, or it's not what I thought it was going to be. I know some of you are going to be like, mama raised no quitters, but guess what, homegirl? Your mama ain't the one going through this, and she's not the one stressed out. Eres tú la que te friegas. We don't give ourselves the space to mess up or to make sure things don't go bad. ¿Por qué? Also, I think that we were raised as first-gen Latinas with the whole ni moda chingarle mentality, like you snooze, you lose, meaning no stopping, no pain, no gain, which is kind of dumb in my opinion, because if you didn't work hard for it, hard by whose definition? Your society, to family, to friends, whoever's, it's really pointless when you think about it. If you didn't work hard for it, then no vale la pena. Let's keep it real, y'all. This falls into suffering equals self-worth. That's why people get mad when other people take Ozempic and lose weight, but it's not valid because they quote unquote didn't put the work at the gym or on the diet. Why do you care if he or she or they took the quote unquote easy way out? Listen, to some degree, like I get it. But real talk, if a doctor told me, y me dijo, look, because of your health issues and other things, take this pill 1 time a month. It will help you lose weight, and exercise and cleaning your diet habits or lo que sea are optional. Do you want it? Bruh, I know a lot of people would say yes because it's easy and we want instant gratification. Don't play yourself. It's the truth, and it's okay to say it. Why do we treat going back to basics like it's shameful when basics is where sustainability actually lives? Here's an example. The weight loss, las diets, etc. Weight loss is a hard thing. Saying just eat less and eat more is easy out loud. Doing it is different. We go in rigid and restricted and wonder why it doesn't stick. Food has no morals, y'all. Good food, bad food. Thinking it makes it harder. What if instead, taking away, you start adding? Do an inventory of what you are and aren't doing. Keep what works, adjust what doesn't, and do it week by week. Sometimes we think the reset is going to fix everything, and sometimes the reset itself feels even harder. That's me right now, because it makes you see what you didn't see before, or the mind fuck that all of a sudden you have more free time than before because it took up so much time, so much of your time. If you don't give yourself permission to see it as a reset, you will push through it and call it failure anyways, when in reality, it could have been gone a different way if you had the space to pivot, reset, lo que sea. Think about it. Either road feels hard, y'all, but one of them has no relief. Having a flexible mindset and making space for the reset to feel heavy, even day by day, is part of it. The reset is not the finish line. It's just day one. And be like, I ain't got to trip about this and that because you gave yourself wiggle room to try something new, even if it's one time and you were like, nah, eso no es. Like I mentioned before, we aren't really taught to reset and pivot or go back and be like, hold up, esto sí, esto no. We weren't wired that way, and that's why I'm speaking from experience. The pivot, the reset, or lo que sea feels so heavy, me caga to be honest. But you know what, y'all? Slowly the stress is becoming less, and I think I know what to try next. I know some of you are all going to be like, dude, cálmate, you have less than 400 subscribers on Spotify. But it's better to pivot and recalculate at this size than once I get more discovered and people notice it or don't like it, or it's not hitting more ears with more ears listening. The change only affected me. I'm not a fully blown brand. If I keep trying and I didn't pivot, I would be upset or frustrated that the digital journals aren't selling or that the free career guide or boundaries content wasn't getting any traction. The pivot made me get more TikTok followers. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed, but the motherhood post took off, and I wasn't even sure that would happen because I took a step back before I posted it. I felt it was a really personal question, and to my surprise, it blew up. Then there's this whole thing that people still haven't been able to explain to me. What is the connection, for lack of a better word, or correlation between your parents coming to this country and sacrificing and you doing new things or things not working out? I don't get it. Yes, they came here for a better life, but there was no guarantee that you all were going to be born. Some choices were made and none of you were considered or thought of. Let's keep it real. See how they pivoted and it worked out for most? Some pivots son on the fly and some are a fuerzas when life made you do it, and it's more painful that way. Estás hasta la madre most of the time. Before I end this, I wanted to acknowledge and say this. Sometimes our pivots and resets are just about showing up and living day by day, and that's 1000% valid. Surviving day by day is just as valid as a major life pivot. Both require showing up. No estás sola, homegirl. I hope this helped. I'm in a place of restarting, and if I feel like I have to do it daily or weekly to see what is and what isn't working, then it is what it is. I don't have a team behind me. No tengo extra money for ads and editors, social media marketing and strategy, but I still brought it back to basics. The right people will follow. And here's where it gets dicey. Life made me go back to basics, and I accepted it when it came to this podcast. Los puros huesos. Record, edit, upload social media, back to record. Who knows if I come up with a community or better digital products, but that's not my business right now. The reset is resetting and all I can control, aunque it feels weird. Back to basics is weird sometimes, but it allows me to focus and be consistent, and that's it. Those 2 last episodes were not what I thought they were going to be. They were all over the place and long, but forget it. The pivot is working. Thanks for stopping by, homegirl. I hope I made you at least ponder and made you be like, oh shit, that is interesting. Apply it if it applies to you. And I'll catch you all next week. And I know this is a shorter episode, but after having 2 long ass episodes, I think this is digestible, especially for the people that have commutes that maybe it's a shorter commute. If this felt too short, guess what? I have longer episodes. Check them out. Episode 1, where everything started. I talk about everything else. Ahí les va everything from Emma Greed to why is Latino culture so obsessed with fat women. Escuchen. Okay, y'all. I'll catch you next time. Bye.